Welcome once again to Scenes from the Screen, where we talk about all types of films. Obscure, forgotten, prestigious, rotten, big screen and small, we cover it all. Who knows, you might discover a new gem or be reintroduced to an old favorite. My name is Sean, and I'll be your host. Well, as promised when we were last together, we are back with another movie, Hollie and I. Hello, Hollie.
Hello, everyone.
We're back with the 1967 film, Two for the Road, starring Albert Finney and Audrey Hepburn as a longtime married couple. They look like they're wealthy, and they look like they are completely miserable. But basically what the film does is it kind of shows us their relationship from the very beginning to current time, but it bounces around in time a lot. Wouldn't you say that was the basic premise of the film?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously they're unhappy in their marriage. It starts off, like I said, they are wealthy and they're on their way somewhere, but they're always traveling. That's the thing. That's where the title comes from, Two for the Road. It goes all the way back to their vacation. So it goes to the first time they met, which is she was singing with the bus full of girls. They all came down with chicken pox. And he almost ends up with Jacqueline Bisset, who's in the movie as well.
Right. She's extremely beautiful in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So is Audrey Hepburn. But,
right.
I mean, that's a real tough choice to make. Lucky guy, Albert Finney. So they all get chicken pox, and he ends up on the road with her because they leave the bus for the rest of them. So Finney and Audrey Hepburn hitchhike across Europe. And then, again, they go back and forth, bouncing through, and it grounds you as to when in their marriage it is. So you can kind of tell at certain points.
Yeah. I did like that you knew where they were in their marriage by the topics that they were talking about.
Right. Yeah, like I said, there was actually one funny thing, because I saw this in college. We saw it in a film class, and I enjoyed it. I did. And I was always kind of stuck with me. But I remember that we were sitting in film class, and the editing is fantastic because they'll be driving down the highway in one time period, and when they pass someone on the road, it happens to be, it will show them in a different time period. So it's them on the road.
Were very cool.
Right. And I'll never forget, one of my friends yelled out, "Hey, I just passed myself on the road," which I think about a lot. That was still one of the funniest comments ever. But yeah, like I said, and you're geared towards the movie to think like, hey, well, I'm going to start off with this. I don't know how you felt. Albert Finney's character is a dick.
Oh my goodness, that was in my notes. Mark is a dick. I'm not a huge Albert Finney fan.
I like
anyway,
Albert Finney.
And we talked about that when you said I want that who was in the movie. he was a dick. And then I kept thinking, when the movie was made, I could see why you would have watched this in a film class, because of the editing and the creativity of how they told the story. And the story itself was pretty good, but the time frame and the way they treated women, I thought it was extremely offensive and sexist towards women.
It is. And I think that's basically the time period.
Right. And I think that's the time period. I agree.
And unfortunately, that really has not changed today.
Well, no. But anyway, I really extremely disliked Albert Finney's character.
Right. And you thought there were flashes of times when he could be okay, but overall, as I'm watching, and I'm like, boy, he's kind of a jerk in each time period. At some point or another, he is.
Yes. Are you supposed to not like him? Was that I don't know. Was that their goal?
I don't know. Like maybe it wasn't really a multi-dimensional character per se. Even when he kind of came across as he was supposed to be loving or endearing, he kind of wasn't.
Right.
I don't think that's necessarily Finney's fault. Maybe it is, but maybe it's also the character. I think it's more the character.
Right. Like I wouldn't say that was necessarily an Albert Finney issue. That's definitely a character issue. There was no real redeeming quality in that character that I found at all, other than Audrey Hepburn, who was just phenomenal in everything.
I mean, she was definitely the star of the film.
Yes.
She ran away with it, and she is endearing. Her character is multifaceted.
Yeah, she makes mistakes. She, owns up to them, but she's just like
it's a normal person.
Yes, she came off very. I did enjoy her character in it. She was funny too. She had a sense of humor.
She really did.
Yeah, the husband's character, Mark's character, had no sense of humor and he. One of the things I think that the movie talked about a lot was money, because in the beginning they were kind of both broke.
Exactly.
And then when he became an architect and he became very famous and very well sought after, and he hooked his wagon up to a rich guy that he was at his beck and call. But that's when Albert Finney kept saying like things like, made me think that he was blaming her for them wanting money. Like, well, you wanted the money, you wanted this, and that's their relationship. But you could tell that was all him. I didn't feel like she was the one pushing him because she wanted money. I felt like it was him.
I agree with you. I never thought for once it was Audrey Hepburn's character at all. Yeah, it was him, and I think it was a projection. Yeah, him projected because he wanted to make the money. He kept saying through all the time, but well, early on too, I'm going to conquer the world. I'm going to do this. And, I mean, he did. But here's another thing, because I thought about this too, because we talked about this when we discussed Grosse Point Blank, fate. So fate not only brought he and Audrey Hepburn together because of the chicken pox, because he was destined to go, well, not destined, he was supposed to go off with Jacqueline Bisset,
Right.
but he went off with Audrey Hepburn at the one hotel, and I thought that was kind of a nice juxtaposition where their car caught on fire when they were poor. And I think that was their first car, and their car
But I
caught
didn't
on
get
fire.
them as being real poor in that time.
Not really poor, no, but
I mean,
but-
they were younger.
right,
so
they were younger, yeah. So
didn't-
they kicked around Europe, and
they didn't
but that
have the money that
didn't
they
mean
have
it was
now.
poor. That was
Right.
Miss Hannah
Yes.
doing their little shit.
Because their cars they kept mentioning their cars, and being someone who doesn't know anything about cars, like I didn't know if they were expensive cars or not. Like they kept talking about the MG, and that was the fun time that they had. And I
Right,
wrote that down because I'm like, I don't know, is an MG expensive? Was it cheap?
right. I'm not
Are
familiar
they
with the cars either.
referencing that they had fun in that car because it was less expensive and it was more of their relaxed fun time? I don't know.
Well, I mean, so when their car catches fire at that one point, so two things happen. So one, they meet that couple.
Yeah.
The older kind of really, I don't know. The guy was weird. I mean,
Yeah.
the wife seemed normal, but the guy was weird.
Yeah.
But obviously in faith. Well, I'm happen to be looking for an architect,
Right.
which, and Audrey Hepburn basically talked him up, and she got him that
Right.
That-
She
yeah,
got in
that
the job.
gig. Right.
Yeah.
So that was one aspect of it. But the hotel they had to stay in, again, they didn't have any money. So it was a really ritzy hotel, and he went out to get food, and they had to sneak it in, and it was kind of a nice little goofy comedy thing when the food was falling out of his. And later on, they do find out it was included. The food was included in their bill,
That was
which
kind of fun.
that was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, but then they go back to that hotel later on, and they don't obviously have as much fun.
No.
As when it goes. Really, the whole thing was they had more fun when they didn't have as much money.
Right.
Because their time too. He was always on call for that guy.
Right.
To where it
And
got irritating.
so like my whole thing with this movie was what are they trying to say? Were they trying to say that money makes you miserable, or were they trying to say that people change through marriage, but you can still love each other and still change? Like I couldn't. That's one thing I really didn't like about it. I couldn't figure out what they were trying to say, and I think like that type of movie had some type of storyline, like a thing to it, and I just couldn't figure out what it was.
There's one. Well, the one vacation they take is actually with one of his ex-girlfriends and her husband, played by William Daniels, who is best known for St. Elsewhere or the voice of Kit.
Well, St. Elsewhere was.
Yeah, and Boy Meets World. He was. Now I wouldn't know him because I didn't watch, but he. I mean, he's just great, and he plays this real fastidious
OCD.
type of OCD type of guy with their kid along, and the kid was a brat. She was a brat,
So
but I
annoying.
blame the parents on that one too.
Yeah.
I mean, because they coddled her and everything.
It almost remind me of the way millennials were raised. Almost like how they always say something repeats generations later. It's almost like the way sometimes we treat kids now. It's almost like everyone gets the trophy type kid.
Exactly.
Like,
That's
she wants
exactly
to
what
express her feelings, and she's mad.
Yes.
It was just very annoying.
Yeah, I mean, when we were younger, we did that. We'd have gotten our asses beat.
Right.
So, I mean, not don't call our families in for abuse. That's that's how it was, and you got paddled or spanked or punished. You know what that movie reminded me a lot of, and I don't know if you'll agree with the argument between the husband and wife, The Ref.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
A little bit. No, I mean, it wasn't as fun. We love The Ref. The Ref. We'll probably do that around
funny.
Christmas to do for one of our Christmas movies, but it's kind of an annual tradition. But anyway, so Stanley Donen, who directed this movie, is known for a lot of the Hollywood classics, like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. He did Singing in the Rain. And I totally forgot until I looked him up. He did, and the movie I saw when it was in the theaters, Blame It on Rio.
Oh, I hated that movie.
I was not a fan of it either. I mean, it's got Michael Caine and Joseph Bologna, but I mean, the real reason I went to see it
That girl with
Michelle Johnson. Absolutely. I mean, I was 15 years old. I'm sneaking in to see Blame It on Rio. It was disappointing. It wasn't what you expected. It was more of like,
it was.
Yeah. I mean, it was a midlife crisis movie with Michael Caine. I mean, he also did, which I find interesting, the Lionel Richie Dancing on the Ceiling video.
The same director.
Yes. Stanley Donen did Dancing on the Ceiling, which
he really didn't have a style of his own, did he?
I mean, he did more musicals, I think, than any. I think this was kind of a
less of a musical.
Yeah, it was obviously less of a musical. There were a lot of great. When we talked about them traveling with that other couple. So here's one thing that you mentioned, you noticed, and I noticed too, that William Daniels' character, he's driving, he keeps spraying something almost on the windshield.
Yeah, it was like a bug spray or something.
Right. But then he also sprayed when the daughter was on the side of the road going to the potty. Like, they had a little porta potty. So was she pissing on the windshield or on the dashboard?
I don't know. Like, was he a germaphobe?
I don't know. I couldn't figure that out either.
I think they were trying to say he had OCD.
Probably.
That's what I was thinking. And it didn't really, it just came off more of, he had like an obsessive personality. It didn't really, he was good in it, but it didn't come off like it was just weird. It was weird. I think they were showing the juxtaposition between the two couples.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it wasn't valuable, I think.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's more because they said they wanted, she wanted kids, but he didn't. Somewhere along the line, again, that's kind of a bit of contention about them, about their relationship. They do, yeah. They eventually do have a daughter. There was what I liked though was there's a running thing about the passport.
Yes, I did. That was cute. I did like that.
So when they're older and they're on the plane, he says, "Oh, the plane has to turn back." Really demanding, which is, "Oh, the plane has to turn back. I forgot my passport." Now, granted, I don't think it was a commercial flight. I think it was more of it wasn't even a private jet though, but it was maybe a chartered flight of some kind.
Well, back then, who knows? Because his planes were small.
Right.
We assumed it was. But.
And she has this, he's looking all over. She has his passport. But it pops up too when they first meet. Actually, when they first meet, in a way, it's on the ship.
Right.
So, and he says, "Oh, I can't find my passport." She happens to have it. Right. Well, she finds it, and she finds it in his bag.
Right.
So she's always like kind of the rock, kind of the solid thing there. But one of the lines I really liked was when he says, "If there's one thing I despise, it's an indispensable woman," which is just a great line. Yeah, I think it's line, because he was half joking with that.
What was he?
I don't know. I mean,
the way I just thought he was very disrespectful to her and the daughter, like the relationship with him and the daughter, even like the daughter wasn't a priority. Like it seemed like nobody was a priority. He was very selfish, and she was more the one who had to do everything. Like he acted like, I'm the man, I'm the breadwinner, I do everything, but really, his wife did everything. Like even with the passport, she kept him in line. She kept everything going. She's the one who does all the work, but he's the one who gets all the glory.
Yes, I agree.
My least favorite scene that really kind of pissed me off in the movie, and again, I think it's coming from, my feminist attitude, is when he threw him with the pool scene. Where,
right. When they're playing ping pong.
Right.
He and the big boss. And it went over, and she was playing around with him and said, "Oh, like she took the ball and pretend like she swallowed it."
Yeah.
Then she threw it in the pool.
Right.
And then he throws her in the pool because she wouldn't get up to get it.
And he wasn't joking. Like,
no, he wasn't.
She kept being like, "Ha ha ha," and he was like such a dick.
Yeah.
Like just so disrespectful and mean. Like he was mean in some scenes.
He was.
So that's why I couldn't figure out what this movie wanted to be.
Right.
Do you want to show like a mean dick of a husband with a beautiful, amazing Audrey Hepburn wife? Or like, are you showing how people change? Like, I thought the filming of it and the editing and the transition parts were amazing, especially for back then. So well done.
I agree. That editing was phenomenal. But there is one shot that I've always hated. And I totally forgot about it until I saw it again. So at one point in the marriage, he cheats on her. It's the only time they never travel together.
Right.
Because they even make it a point like, "Oh, I think it was when she was pregnant or something." And
probably.
So he was traveling by himself. I think it was. And he was traveling by himself, and he's doing kind of a back and forth with this woman on the road in the cars. He's passing her. She's passing him. And he ends up cheating on her. But then she ends up cheating on him too at the very end with the boss's wife's brother.
Yeah.
Who looks like a cross between and a lot of people may or may not know who the one is, but Bradford Dillman, who's in Piranha, who's also in Escape from the Planet of the Apes, and Tony Randall.
He did have a Tony Randall like.
Yeah, it was very because plus he had the turtleneck on. It was very it was very around that time. But
kind of the French guy. Now that's all I can tell you right now.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of who either.
That's who he reminded me of. Like he was trying to be like they kind of wanted that character to be this sexy playboy.
Right, but that was not the right. No. I mean, I think it was the right. No, but anyway, I mean, he was annoying too in a different way.
Yeah.
So, but when Albert Finney's character comes up and he comes up those stairs, and Audrey Hepburn is sitting there with, I think David is his name, at the table. It does like an odd freeze and then like a zoom in a way. It was a very jarring choice to make aesthetically. I thought that way back in when I saw it in college, which was probably I was middle of college, so I would probably say 89. Was when I saw it. But it was. Do you remember that scene at all?
No, I
or that shot.
I remember the scene, but I don't recall that exact shot.
Yeah,
it was the scene. Of course, I remember because it was irritating.
Yeah, I mean, it was so. It just froze and it kind of a zoom, but it was just an odd choice for that film. I thought it was. Again, maybe it was meant to be jarring, but it's already jarring if you see her with some other guy. I don't know why he chose to do that.
Right. Yeah.
But like I said, maybe 67. It was. What it reminded me of, like a French New Wave back then, like all those weird choices they made, and that's another thing they made us watch in college was the French New Wave stuff, and I wasn't a big fan. I don't know. I didn't really get it. Maybe
you had a very interesting film class in college. Very different than mine.
We did. I mean. We watched the 400 Blows. We watched, and my friend John and I used to talk about, because he was in the same class with me last year at Marion Bad, which I will never ever make you watch.
Heard of these movies.
It's bad. It's terrible. It's a terrible film. Last year at Marion Bad is just awful. We saw a couple of good ones like Last Metro, Jules et Jim, I should say. But yeah, so maybe in 67 that kind of shot was, I don't know, eclectic, but
popular maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. There was another really good line. Well, it was between the two of them. So they were watching some other couple, and I think she said, "That's marriage for you," and he said, "That's marriage for them."
Right.
And then she goes, "That's marriage." Or I mean,
something
back and forth. I can't remember which, who said what, but I mean, there were some really good lines in there. Some really good dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, I did like, and it was more of what I would call talky.
Yeah,
and very limited.
You're not gonna have to shoot him up action or anything.
Well, yeah, but very limited cast. It's very much just Albert Finney and her.
Right. They had to carry the whole film.
Which I did like that, and I did like the back and forth of their conversations and how they communicated, and I did like that a lot. I just I didn't really like the film that much, other than the like we said, the editing part was really cool. I didn't like it. I thought Albert Finney was a very nasty, mean husband. And even at the end, when he was like saying stop or something, she was driving away or he was driving away, I forget which one. Someone was driving and he's like, you won't leave or you won't do that.
Oh, yeah, no. She was walking away.
Yeah, walking away. I just thought, she finally, I was excited. I'm like, she finally got enough courage to say, I'm done. I'm out. And then didn't. And that was kind of a letdown for me.
Right. I mean, I know. For some reason, she loved him, which I don't understand. I mean, he said he did to her, but yeah,
he relied on her for everything. If you think about it,
he did. Yeah.
But
so again, it's the indispensable woman. Yeah. But it reminded me a lot of so when this episode airs, we are actually going to be on a road trip.
Right.
So that'll be next week, and. One of the things is that and I know we've touched on our other road trips, that there are only so few people I could travel with solo. Like not solo, but like two, just one other person.
Car for a very long time. It's hard.
Exactly, and it's you and my late friend Mark. He and I used to travel all the time, but you're the other one, and we always have a good time. We always have a good time just traveling. We point out stuff on the road to get to work. It's the journey.
Right.
Really
we always start our trips with half our vacation is the car time, because we're still not home. So the traveling to our destination is part of the vacation.
It is.
I think if you have that mindset, it makes it a little more fun.
It does, right? And you just have to, whatever happens, you kind of have to just go with it.
It did make me want to drive across Europe, though.
I would always
After
like to do
watching
that.
this
I don't want to hitchhik across.
No,
driving.
It seems like it's real easy in this movie. They just
they just pick up and go. Yeah, one to another.
You walk around for a while, and you don't have to make plans. I know it was 1967, but I was like, oh, that's the way to live, man. It was like, I did like that part.
Right. They just hop whenever they want. I mean, he was on the back of a tractor at one point.
Yep.
That's when the bus, actually, I don't even know what happens to the bus. They just go into a ditch for some reason.
Because he was so handsome. The driver was paying attention to him and not the road.
Oh, true. Yeah. And,
which is, I mean, I was surprised because I don't think I've ever seen Albert Finney as something that young. I only know Albert Finney as an older man.
True.
So to see him that young, he actually was fairly handsome. And I was kind of shocked by that. He was an attractive man.
You did see something, but it was 3 years later and he had a lot of makeup on. Most of the film was his musical version of Scrooge.
Oh, well, he wasn't supposed to be good looking in Scrooge.
I get that, right. Now, especially older. I mean, younger, yes, he was. Right. But that's the only thing I could think of where you might have seen him younger at one point because he obviously did play. He had to have played himself. Ebenezer Scrooge is a younger man.
And I was surprised I didn't know of this movie at all.
You never even heard of it.
No, and my family has a special connection with Audrey Hepburn. And my niece is named after her, and I just didn't know this movie. Not that I know every Audrey Hepburn movie, because back then they did a movie a day, but I never heard of this and didn't know anything about it. I am glad I watched it. I don't want to watch it again.
Right. I mean, it's not really rewatchable. It's just, I wanted to see it again because I wanted to show it to you. Yeah. And I was kind of, it had been, nearly 40 years since I've seen it. So I thought it always stuck with me, like bits and pieces stuck with me.
Like I said, I'm glad I saw it. It was worth watching, and I'm glad I saw it. I might purposefully bicker with you on our trip just to have.
So I could throw you in a pool.
Yeah, so you can throw me in a pool.
Well, you'll be in a lake, so no, you'll be in the river.
No,
it is a lake, right? It is a lake. That's true. So why don't you plug a little bit for where you'll be going and what you'll be doing, and I'll obviously be tagging along. So tell everyone, because it's a great event.
Yes,
and it's a great.
The Steel City Dragons are going to Toronto for a dragon boat race. Our team is a mixed team of healthy men and women, but then we also have a team of all breast cancer survivors, and we have we're trying to get a bigger team of all cancer survivors. So, but this race itself, we're going to have just one mixed boat. So it's going to be people of all health issues and non-health issues. I'm very excited. I've never raced in Toronto, obviously, but it's a fun time. And the camaraderie and the friendship and the teamwork has really been beneficial, I think, for us.
And we have been to a lot of different places. Yes. I wouldn't say it's extravagant. This is probably the most extravagant place we've been to.
This is the biggest city that we've been to, because usually it's more in a local small town type area. It's hard to get dragon boats
like Jamestown,
in a
Akron,
downtown place.
Which Jamestown's awesome. Buffalo is the biggest city until this one.
City,
yeah. But it is great. And I mean, I like watching them paddle. Like I said, it's anyone can join. I'm not an outdoorsy person. I'll sit outdoor, but I'm not a participant of outdoor recreation.
Even though we keep trying.
Definitely keep trying. It's, hey, if at first you don't succeed, there'll be many times you don't succeed. That's my adage.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anything else that you would like to mention about the film?
No, but if we have our rating of
So it's either glued to the set, it's scrolling and taking a peek every now and again, or change the channel.
This is change the channel.
It would, for me,
other than Audrey Hepburn.
Right.
I can't plug her enough.
I'd watch it for a couple minutes, but it's not something I would see unless I'm going to plan on watching the whole thing. It's not something, but I would maybe recommend seeing if you're an Audrey Hepburn or an Albert Finney fan.
Or if you were interested in filmmaking.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
Or storytelling.
And Henry Mancini does the music.
Oh, okay.
So
and I think the storytelling was really cool. How the transitions between future and past, not future, present, past, and then mid past, and then way past, and then future.
It was done very well.
Yeah,
like I said, it established it
Right.
almost immediately.
Right. And
So
it wasn't
you knew.
confusing. You
No.
knew right away. Like, I think the storytelling was amazing.
And that's
and
hard
the
to do.
filmmaking was amazing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. And I know you'll be back next week.
Yes, I'm always back.
All
And
right.
I think Hannah might come join us again.
Yes. She's here today, and she might join us
She
again
wants to be part of the
next
pod.
time. Which, hey, why not? She might speak at some point. That wraps up another episode. So make sure you hit like, subscribe, download, whatever it takes to be the first to know when new episodes become available on your favorite podcast platform. For Scenes from the Screen, I'm Sean, and thanks for listening.